After a 7-month investigation, the New Mexico Attorney General's office has filed felony sexual assault charges, among other crimes, against 3 former New Mexico State men's basketball players as part of a grand jury indictment. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stephanie Shields. Now, according to court record, it all stems from allegations of hazing and sexual assault and harassment that ultimately canceled New Mexico State's 2022-23 season back in February. Through multiple scandals over the last year surrounding New Mexico State basketball, this is the first anyone has been charged with a crime. Now, KTSM 9 Sports Director Colin Deaver has been following this story the entire way and joins us now with the latest details.
Yes, Stephanie, former New Mexico State men's basketball players DeShondre Washington, Dr. Bradley, and Kim Aiken Jr. were indicted on a total of 37 felony charges in New Mexico's 3rd District Court in Las Cruces following that Attorney General investigation into the sexual assault allegations levied against the former 3 players by multiple of their former teammates and NMSU student staff members. They're accused in the indictment of holding alleged victims down against their will while they violated them, sometimes forcibly restraining victims while, quote, violently grabbing their genital area. Now, here's a look at the charges, all of which stem from incidents involving 4 victims that allegedly took place between August and November of 2022. Washington and Bradley were each charged with 13 felonies, including 2nd-degree criminal sexual penetration, 4th-degree criminal sexual contact, and false imprisonment. Aiken, meanwhile, was charged with 11 felonies, including 2nd-degree criminal sexual penetration, false imprisonment, and that 4th-degree criminal sexual contact charge. The maximum sentence for Bradley and Washington, 27 years of jail time, 24 years for Aiken. A 2nd-degree criminal sexual penetration conviction also would require them to register as sex offenders. Now, the trio will not be extradited back to Las Cruces, but will be required to appear in court in Doña Ana County for their first appearance on November 22nd. The AG's investigation began back in April and looked into the same complaints made in an NMSU Title IX sexual misconduct report, as well as 2 separate lawsuit filings by multiple former teammates of Washington, Bradley, and Aiken Jr. The trio were found responsible last week by NMSU of 3 Title IX violations. NMSU then settled a lawsuit with former players Deuce Benjamin and Shakira Odunewu for $8 million in June, stemming from those allegations. A second lawsuit was filed by former player Kyle Fight and 2 unnamed former members of the team on Monday. And with the amount of evidence compiled, Attorney General Raul Torres believes his office will be able to get a conviction, and that at this time he intends to try the 3 together.
We wouldn't have charged them with pretty serious felony counts if we didn't believe they had substantial criminal culpability, and you know, they will be held to account. They will appear before a judge and be prosecuted before a jury in Doña Ana County.
We have multiple counts against multiple players. It goes towards holding the players accountable who have been identified as the 3 perpetrators.
Torres and Jolene Youngers, who you just heard from, the attorney for the Benjamin family, both told KTSM today that they expect victims to be willing to testify in the case. Torres said that now the AG's office is conducting a review of New Mexico State to ensure that best practices were followed by administration. At this time, he says he doesn't expect more charges to be filed, but said they can adjust charges at any time if they need to. Aiken and Washington are not playing college basketball this year, but Bradley was listed as a member of the Nicholls State University team until today, when the indictment was filed. A university spokesperson told KTSM that Bradley is no longer a member of the Nicholls State team. The 3 players have not responded to requests for comment. NMSU chose not to comment on the situation. Now, coming up in our later shows, more on the charges, the review the AG's office will conduct, and we will speak with Jolene Youngers about the latest lawsuit she filed this week that includes current athletic director Mario Mocha as a defendant. Steph, back to you.